The election was stolen, the vaccines are dangerous, and I'm not afraid to say it. Listen live weekdays at noon Eastern.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
Yeah, here he is, all right. Thank you for your loyalty to the show, given everything going on. I really appreciate it, folks. There are a lot of warriors out there that are fighting this fight. I want one of them on the show right now, someone you need to hear from. My friend Doc Washburn. Doc, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dan, thank you very much for bringing me on. I really appreciate it. And I'll tell you what, you have intestinal fortitude. You're a gutsy guy, and we appreciate you standing up for me and people like me. God bless you, brother.
No, thank you, buddy. That's the least I can do. We've known each other for a while. By the way, you have one of the legendary voices in talk radio. Really amazing. I wish my voice, candidly, Doc, is a little grating, maybe a lot grating, depending on who you talk to. I'm always shocked when we get the ratings and they're good. I'm like, man, people want to listen to the show for 3 hours with that voice. It's stunning. I can't believe you got a lot of patience, folks. Doc has a great voice. So, Doc, I wanted to have you on for a reason. One, I support you. You're the guy with the guts here. I play a distant second to you, but what happened to you? You had a very, very popular radio program. I've known about you for a while. People love you. And all of a sudden, you were gone. What happened?
Yeah, well, okay. So the CEO of Cumulus Media, Mary Berner, announced on August 11th that she was angry with people who were not vaccinated. There was a video she put out for this little private Facebook group that Cumulus employees are part of. And she said, you know what? Everybody's got to be fully vaccinated and back in the building by October 11th. If you're not, you're terminated. So, and we got some paperwork the same day about that. And so then I sent her a letter a few days later explaining how, in my humble opinion, this is illegal. And I also have a religious objection because of the whole thing about aborted fetal cells. I'm no, medical expert or anything, but apparently they were used in at least the research, if not the development of the vaccines. And then I found out that there was some kind of a form you could fill out for an exemption, which, had not been mentioned up until that point. So I filled out the form and I explained my religious exemption. And I also said, look, you've been allowing personalities to do the show by remote from home for years before the China virus ever showed up. Your CEO's mad at people like me. Some of the music DJs in the building in Little Rock, I know, are treating unvaccinated people like second-class citizens. Why not just allow me to keep doing it from home, so I don't have to deal with a hostile workplace every day. So the guy, this McCarty guy in charge of HR at corporate in Atlanta, he emailed me back and asked me some real specific questions about my religious beliefs, how they affect the way I live my life, how they affect what I think about vaccines. Want to know what my spiritual leader, quote unquote, thought about vaccines. And I answered the question to the best of my ability, but I said, I belong to a church. We got a pastor and elders. I don't think I really have a spiritual leader. I don't know what they think about vaccines, but I do know they're all pro-life because they're Christians. And so then my religious exemption was denied, and they ignored the thing about maybe letting me keep doing the show from home. So Friday, October 8th was my last day. And my understanding is that a number of personalities were told that morning, hey, Thursday was your last show. But my program director, Toby Howell, who's a great guy, vouched for me and said, no, Doc's a good guy. He's going to play it straight. We can trust him. So, I wasn't going to violate, that trust. So I played it straight. As soon as I got off the air, Friday, October 8th, I said, hey, I've just been fired by Cumulus Media. Here's the reason why. And my podcast, DocWashburnShow.com, starts Tuesday, October 12th. And, we've been getting a lot of downloads all over the country on that. So I just
that's really Doc. That's good to hear. Let's get that website out again there, okay? Because I want to make sure people heard that. DocWashburn.com, and they can listen to your show there because I don't want you stranded out there on your own. The show, are you doing the show right now, the podcast? Sorry, I don't mean to step on you. You doing the show right now?
No, that's okay. I just finished up the episode for the day. It's actually DocWashburnShow.com.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. Get the Doc Washburn Show. Doc. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to screw that up. I was trying to help you. Not. My apologies, brother.
You are helping.
No, I listen. I feel obligated. I've been very blessed. Again, I've known you for a while. We've kind of had one of those. You know how it works in this business. There's social media relationships. You see people's name come up. You tweet to them, hey, you like one of their things. You share their Facebook stuff. And, I feel like I've been very, blessed. I have. I like yourself, I'm a believer in the Almighty. And he's put me in this spot for a reason. And it would be, moral malpractice to let you and Tron and others dangle out there in the wind. So, I mean, I have not spoken to you about this. I mean, we've shared some messages back and forth, but I haven't asked you that many details up because I wanted to save it for the air. But has there been any progress, or are you just now limited to the podcast and is Cumulus telling you, hey, that's it, you're out, see you later?
No, that's it, you're out, see you later. Yeah, as a matter of fact, it was really weird. So Tuesday, October 12th, my last day was Friday, October 8th. Tuesday, October 12th, they sent me an email with a new temporary username and password to get into what they call Workday, which is where you look at your official stuff, your pay stubs and all that. So I'm like, I wonder what that's about. So I put in the new the new temporary username and password and clicked on the thing, and it said, welcome, Francis Washburn, terminated. So, yeah, wow. That's that's the way it is. But, one of the things that is freeing about doing the podcast by myself, which I guess is kind of like freeing about being on 300 radio stations like yourself, is that I no longer feel like, if I say this, I'm going to get fired. I mean, the Washington Post.
I got to tell you, I'm so glad to hear you say that. That is the one reason when I got into this partnership with Cumulus on the radio side, what we're listening to now, I never, ever gave up my podcast. Because a guy like you, Doc Washburn, incredibly talented broadcaster, super smart guy, DocWashburnShow.com, you will always find a way. You know why, Doc? Good people and good content attracts an audience. But the hard reality is that the terrestrial radio, whatever we want to call it, side, there are a lot of middlemen there, a lot of very good people. There's a lot of program directors out there who stuck with me who are terrific people, and I thank them. But you're right. When you're running your podcast, DocWashburnShow.com right now, that's you, brother. That's you in a relationship with your audience right there. And there are no middlemen in between. That's why I never, ever gave up my podcast, because I wasn't bending a knee before anyone. I know you're not doing it either.
Yeah, amen. So if I want to say the election was stolen, which I believe it was, then I can say it on my podcast. I mean, the memo came down January 6th. Washington Post had it. New York Times had it. If you say that, as a local Cumulus host, you're going to be terminated immediately. And now, it turns out, looks like the whole January 6th thing was a setup by the feds anyway. But look, I want to say something in defense of you and what you're doing here, because I've seen the articles and I've heard the people taking pot shots at you. Oh, you should have done this earlier, et cetera, et cetera. And what I said on my podcast a couple of days ago was, I think Dan was in a much stronger position on October 18th than he would have been on August 11th. You were still accumulating, affiliates, and you got over 300 stations right now. And I think you're in a much stronger position to come out October 18th and say, okay, here's the deal, than you would have been on August 11th. I don't have a problem with it at all. I just don't understand people who automatically jump to, sinister motivations when it comes to you.
All right. I don't Doc, I never got that either. I think it's just people who, know if they put my name in an article, they'll get some clicks. But what bothered me most about that, and I'm not going to pretend it didn't. No, it didn't blew off. I blew it off. It didn't. It bothered me. I'm being straight with you. I'm not typically bothered by leftist critiques. They're leftists. They do what they do, But I do get bothered by people in the conservative kind of ecosystem when, like you said, they try to attribute sinister motives to things that are done with a pure heart. And what bothered me the most about that critique is, especially the guy in Alabama who kept opening his mouth about a virtue signal, was, Doc, I give you my word as a friend, and to this audience, I would never lie to you, and Jim knows this too. I had been fighting this fight from the moment this came out. I just didn't make it public because I thought it would be more effective behind the scenes. It turns out that was a miscalculation. they really did fire people. And I thought they may not. And when I got wind about you and Tron and others, then I decided it was time to go public. But it was not like I had just thought about this at the last minute and waited for someone to get fired. I was doing everything I could behind the scenes, trying to make this stop. And I misjudged what they were going to do. I candidly didn't think they were going to fire people. And that was my mistake. But it wasn't that there was inaction. It's just it was a strategic miscalculation. And I tried my best. I swear I did not see that coming. And when I saw your story, because I follow you on social media, I right away got to action and made the calls and did everything I need to do and said, guys, I'm taking this public because I'm not going to let this happen to this guy or Tron. These are good people. So, Doc, where do you see going forward? You have this, I got about a minute left, but you have your podcast, DocWashburnShow.com. But going forward, I mean, where do you see this in the bigger picture countrywide now that we see this January 4th vaccine mandate? Are we going to see more brave people like you standing up and saying, nah, you know what? Not today. It's my body, and I'll do with it what I damn well please.
Yeah, people are going to have to stand up, or our freedom is gone, because after the vaccine mandate, it's going to be the vaccine passport. It's the Great Reset. World Economic Forum said late last year, by 2030, you will own nothing, you'll have no privacy, but you'll be so much happier. Dan, this is a globalist conspiracy. They're trying to take us over. And, Fauci keeps on lying about it, but the thing is looking more and more to me like this was done on purpose. And God bless Rand Paul for, trying to hold him accountable. I wish more people were.
I said I opened up the show, Doc. I said today is not about the vaccine. This is about punishment, and this is about making people bend the knee who don't want to be controlled. People like you. Doc, unfortunately, I'm out of time. I could talk to you all day. Let me give you one more plug, DocWashburnShow.com. Doc, we will have you back on the show, and please stay in contact with me and give me any updates. My line's always open. You know where to find me.
Will do. God bless you, brother. I appreciate everything.
Thanks,
Thank you
pal.
so much.
You got it, Doc. Folks, that was Doc Washburn, a guy who stood up for what he believed in and sadly, tragically lost his job, which is really a damn shame and candidly really pisses me off. We're going to do something about it. We'll have some news on that coming up in the coming weeks, too. I'm Dan Bongino. We'll be right back.
Bongino.